Hey everyone, this is Alpha Team Go. I'm Jennifer Wylde, and today I'll be giving you all a bootcamp lesson on how to breathe like a singer. Okay everyone, so I think in some previous videos I mentioned that in high school and college I studied, vocal performance and opera. So first things first is stretching. So after you get out of bed, hopefully you're doing some sort of a ritual where you stretch your entire body, make sure you're loose. You want to be loose, ready for action, no sex jokes please, but from your head to your toes when you start the day. Sometimes you might sleep in a weird position and you pull something or you're sore and stiff. That's the worst thing. If you're stiff, forget it. You can't do anything. So starting with your neck, we'll just take it slow and simple. So we would, turn our head to the right or your left, to the left, stretch your neck that way, and then look down. Oh, I just felt my neck pop right there. And then up. And I know this is just real quick, but you can do it at your own pace, and you should do it at your own pace. You don't want to rush it and stretch and tear something. So start with your neck, and then we're going to go and stretch our entire bodies. So what we would do is we would put our arms above our heads, get a good stretch that way, get all your abdominal muscles loose and stretched out, and then we would go down and go this way so that your back muscles are stretched out. And do that, and you want to do it at your own pace, of course, and you can hold it a few seconds, however you feel most comfortable doing it. You just don't want to injure yourself. Imagine injuring yourself while you're stretching so that you don't injure yourself. So even though this will be a breathing lesson, I wanted to incorporate the stretching part because if you don't have, a loose canvas to work with to start with, it's going to be hard to get your breathing down without, having everything loose and ready to go. So I thought about this topic of breathing when I saw a question posed on Facebook a few weeks ago where somebody had mentioned something about what are some good tips, you can offer to be a better singer. And one of the things I thought of was breathing, because for me, that was the most important thing I learned about, how to be a vocalist, but it took me years. So besides going to, the performing arts high school and college, I didn't get it at all. In high school, we had private voice lessons and they were required as part of our, curriculum. It was a performing arts high school again. So I remember distinctly I had a couple of luckily female, private voice lesson teachers, and they would, try to help me to get my diaphragm and all these muscles to work the way they're supposed to get me to project better as a singer. And, we were studying opera and classical music, so it's pretty much different, but the same as, rock and pop. The principles are the same, and you want your body to do what you need it to do so that you can go out there and give your best performance. So, but being so young and, body was still changing and developing, I just could not figure out for the life of me how to do it. And, mind you, we were going out to have these evaluations. It was at the Florida Vocal Association. We would go out and have these FVA solo evaluations. So where we would go out and sing, we'd go with the choir on a bus, and these teachers and professionals, instructors would judge us on our singing performance. And it was private. We would sing just with one other individual in the room. And usually it would be, a selection, an aria, Italian or German, Latin. And we would get a score. And I was always nervous, always dreading it, but excited at the same time because, that was my passion and still is. But those were tricky because you needed to have your stuff down. Your technique had to be on point. So as that question was posed on Facebook, it got me thinking that one of the most crucial aspects of being a vocalist is breathing techniques. So I learned something a few years ago where I just, because in high school I couldn't figure it out, and it just took me years to finally get it down, and physically in my body, physiologically how that felt. So it's basically that you need to remember that even though we breathe with our lungs, a singer has to breathe with their diaphragm and even through your back and the bottom area of your abdomen. So, as a vocalist, we actually should not be breathing with our lungs. And you might be thinking, Jennifer Wylde, that's crazy. You're telling me not to breathe with my lungs. Well, I know it sounds crazy. I thought it was crazy too. Like, how does that work? How does that work? So, I'll show you guys. So, our lungs extend all the way past where you think they might stop. They actually go way down below into your back. So in high school, I remember my private voice lesson teacher telling me all the time, when you breathe, fill your back, and feel your back moving and try to breathe through that and get the air moving down there. And like I said, I didn't get it. I couldn't pull it off no matter how hard I tried. It was just not clicking. So fast forward all the way to today. Well, not today, but a few years ago, I read this article about not breathing with your lungs, but breathing down into your back and laying down. They described kind of laying down and taking a deep breath in, as deep as you could take, and have the bottom of your back touch the floor. And so when I did that, it was really difficult at first, but something clicked because I had been singing for years already professionally at this point, and karaoke, aside, I had fun with that. It just finally made sense, and my performances really improved a lot. I mean, I'm still nowhere near where I really want to be, but it was a major improvement from where I used to be, and that's what you want to do, is get improvement and show improvement, at least on a daily basis. So basically, what I want you guys to do is, after we've stretched, we've gotten our whole bodies from our head to our toes as loose and free as possible, is lay down on the floor and get as comfortable as you can. Hopefully you've got carpeting or just a bare floor, just something comfortable for you. You can put a blanket down and a pillow, but you basically want your body to be as flat as possible and try to do exactly what I was talking about, where you take a deep breath and not really through your lungs, try to fill it to the bottom of your lungs and your lower abdomen to engage those muscles, and try to push with your lower back onto the ground with that air. So what that's going to do is train your body to breathe through your lungs and past your lungs. And like I said, it sounds crazy. Why? We have to fill our lungs, obviously, with air. Well, they still fill with air, but what you're doing is training your body to accept that flow of air and engage those muscles so that that's what's filling and giving you that power and that support. That's basically what singing is. It's this, like, I don't want to say hydraulic compression, but it's like an air pressure compression system that is working together with your abdominal muscles, your diaphragm, your lungs, your entire body, and your voice ultimately. So it starts out with your breath, taking it in and filling, your lungs and all that in the right capacity. And then your voice is supposed to be floating above that pocket of air. That's another big thing I learned, is we're not singing with our throat. We're not singing with our necks, and we're not singing with our chests. So back in high school, I would hear a lot about, and not me personally, but other singers, and I would see it on TV too, talking about not singing with your chest or breathing with your chest. I finally understand it now. So basically what they're saying is, you don't want to take high breaths that are shallow and provide you no support, because then, the breath is coming from up here, but really the support needs to be here. So this is where the air needs to be. As long as you've got, it's almost like a hot air balloon, where you've got all the pressure cooking up here. That's what you want, is to feel that pressure down there and allow it to come through, with your voice, and your voice floating above the air. That'll also keep your voice in check. And if you, find you're in pain or you're fatigued easily, This would happen to me a lot, just, over the years, learning how to be a better singer and better techniques for myself. That's where the problem is that you might just be singing too much from your throat and, your neck or something weird like that. Whereas you really got to get the power from beneath your abdomen all the way down in there so that your diaphragm is engaged. Okay, so that brings me to another point, is engaging your diaphragm. How the heck do you do that? So I call it that because you've got a series of muscles that are all connected to work together. And as a singer, you've got to find that space that is yours to fill, that will provide you that necessary power you need and support to get those notes out. So I sing rock, I sing pop, I sing a lot of different things. No more opera though, but I was trained operatically and classically. So like I said, in the past, I couldn't figure it out for the life of me, and I tried. And, I would still get, superior and excellent ratings, not tooting a horn. It was just, that's what we were judged in. We had good, or fair, good, excellent, and superior. So I was always kind of, teetering between great and almost great ratings when I would go to do those Florida Vocal Association, solo evaluations as a singer. So anywho, I can feel myself doing it right now, where I've trained myself so long now to breathe from down below instead of my chest, where I used to breathe. Because, we're human, we're going to breathe with our lungs, right? So another super valuable, helpful exercise that we would do in high school and college later on as a choir was the S's. So it's basically where you would take in a deep breath from below, and then just with the tip of your tongue, push it up to your teeth, but not so much so that you can't, push air out. But you want to create some pressure so that you're letting air out only a little bit at a time. And I'll show you in a bit an example for 16 counts. And that's what we would do. And sometimes it was harder and some days it was easier. But basically you would do just like I was saying, and take the deep breath in and then go for 16 counts. And the 16 counts would be like 1, 2, 3, kind of like that pace. So in the beginning, it might be difficult to hold it all the way to the 16 counts. It might be super easy for you. I know everyone's at different levels, but bottom line, if you train yourself to start doing those type of exercises, that will also help engage your muscles. It's almost like waking them up. So that's what you want to make sure, is that everything you need to do your thing out on that stage and kick ass like a rock star that you are is totally working and awake when you need it to be. It's like the coffee here. I've got some coffee right here. It's like a shot of coffee and adrenaline for your muscles to wake you up and wake them up to get you, ready to go for action. This is one of those things that I just had to talk about. I just find it really fascinating when you figure it out for yourself. It's so exciting. And it will be individual for each person. It took me, like I said, forever. So I kind of wanted to make this video. No, I definitely wanted to make this video to help you guys achieve it way quicker than I did. And mainly I wanted to focus on those issues of, vocalists finding themselves either running out of air too soon when they're trying to hold a note for a long time, or maybe trying to reach a high note, but it's a little bit harder. That's a whole separate video too I can definitely go into. As far as like ear training, listening, and analysis, that was one of the courses I took in the audio production program at the Art Institute in Miami, Florida. That was huge. So yeah, you guys definitely make sure you're stretching. Treat your bodies with love and kindness and care. Make sure you get enough sleep. That's another big one. I think that helps with anything you're doing in life. You want to make sure you get enough sleep the night before. I really hope this video was helpful for you and gave you some new tips and tricks on how to be the best singer you can be. Thank you for watching. Again, this is Alpha Team Go, and I'm Jennifer Wylde. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Spotify. And you can also follow us here at Alpha Team Go on YouTube and on TikTok, A Team Go. Stay wild, everyone.